Hi everybody, this is Sarah at the Catholic Homemaker. Today I want to talk about whether or not we should be telling our kids the truth about Santa Claus, whether he's real or not. The way I feel about it personally is that we should tell our kids the truth, and it's a tough thing. There's like a lot of judgment from people who disagree with what I'm doing, and I don't want to make my decision based on other people's expectations of what we should do. Now, let me give you a little history behind the way I feel. So, I was brought up to believe in Santa. I was brought up in the Catholic faith. I've always been very strong in my faith, but also my parents did have us believe in Santa, the Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny. So I really thought all of them were real. But I feel like Santa Claus especially is like a really central thing that can be problematic. Just because of the lying that goes behind it. Because I believed in all three of those up until a certain age when I actually figured it out. And once I figured it out, the thing that I felt was betrayal. And I know that may sound like overly dramatic, but that's really how I felt. And ever since then, and even before I had kids, I was thinking, what am I going to do about Santa? Am I going to tell them the truth? Like, how can I resolve my feelings and celebrate them? Or should we just not go with all the hype of Santa Claus and just kind of tell them the truth? One of my friends recently was telling me how they do it at home, and she said, we tell them about Santa Claus, that he's a character, but we teach them about St. Nicholas. And that's kind of along the lines of how I thought I would do it too, is I would always tell who St. Nicholas actually was. And if you don't know, he was an actual person who was born in the 3rd century, and he was a very giving, compassionate person. He was born to wealthy parents, but they died when he was young. But he spent his inheritance helping out the sick, the needy, and the suffering. And that's who we know of as Santa Claus, the character. But that's who Santa Claus is based off of, an actual real person who went to heaven, is with God now. So he's a wonderful saint to learn about, and I will definitely teach our children about him. And that same friend, she celebrates St. Nicholas Day with her kids, which his feast day is on December 6th. And I just attended her party on that. That was kind of fun. And all the kids, there were different activities. I won't get into that. But they also celebrate Christmas, and they celebrate things throughout Advent as well. So I want to try to incorporate some of those traditions into our family too. One of the things that we've been consistent about since we've gotten married is having the Advent wreath and doing that at least once a week. Ideally, you do it every night, but we haven't necessarily done that. But we're still a young family. We're still developing our traditions, what we will do. And so one of the judgments that you may receive, that I've kind of received, is just from family members questioning. And it's not because I came out and professed, I am not telling my kids about Santa, because I never did that. But it's just from conversations where people have kind of found out how I feel. And one of them recently was with my sister, and she was asking about my oldest. She was talking to her saying, oh, are you going to ask, what did you ask Santa that you want for Christmas? And I was like, oh, I don't think she's going to know what you mean by that. And she's like, what? Why not? And I was like, well, I haven't really talked to her about it. And she was just asking all these questions. And she's like, we had such a great upbringing. Like, why do you care? And I explained to her about how I felt when I found out Santa Claus wasn't real. And yeah, that's just how I felt. And I think sometimes she thinks I'm just doing things just to be different, but in reality, I'm really not. I'm just doing it because these are my personal beliefs. I'm not trying to judge anybody else if they do decide to tell their kids about Santa Claus. That's everybody's personal decision, but personally for me, I just, at least at this moment, I do not feel right doing it because I don't want to lie to my children for years and them feel the same way that I did. I want them to be able to trust me. And maybe I'll do the same thing as my friend. Maybe I'll explain to them that Santa Claus is a character, but St. Nicholas was an actual person. And we definitely do give gifts. We give gifts to our children. We give gifts to our family. And I definitely want to teach our children the value in giving. Another problem I have with the Santa Claus in our modern society is that it's like commercialism and it's all about getting. Sure, there's a lot of great movies out there that show you, that demonstrate the value of giving, but in reality, like everything that we're bombarded with, it's really not celebrating Christmas the way we should be celebrating it. It's about the birth of Jesus Christ our Lord, and it's about giving to people. It's not about thinking about what am I going to get for Christmas, what am I going to receive. It's really about teaching those values to people and helping others, just like St. Nicholas did. So one other thing I will teach, if I decide to share the truth about Santa Claus to them, I will also be sure to teach them that other kids, other people believe that Santa Claus is real. So we have to be respectful of that. So that is another lesson that I would teach them, that you have to have that respect for others. But that is how I feel about that. I would love to hear what you guys think about teaching your kids that Santa is real or not. So let me know in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to know when I post. Until next time, bye and have a very Merry Christmas.